Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name is Adam Vale, Senior Editor over at the Koalition.com. And we are back for the Westies, Season 1, Episode 8, the finale, The Irish Goodbye. I love the people. I love this season. I hope we get a second season. If not, the cast, take a bow. Did a great job. J.K. Simmons, Tom Brittany as Jimmy, Stanley Murphy as Mickey, Sarah Bulger as Bridget, everyone, and the entire extras and all the others on this show. Of course, Titus, Camden, Glenn, come on now. They killed it. They killed it. They nailed it. This was very believable, and that's what you have to do on this type of show. This set, a period piece, it has to pull you in on that level. It has to be very believable, and they delivered it with the lines, with the accents, with the set design, all of it. It just it was great. It was great. I hope we get a second season. I know some people out there were like, oh, not everybody's like, well, there's no one. Well, you know what? You don't have to like everybody. You know, I compared it to Sopranos. Come on now. Nobody was good on that show. Okay, let's be honest. They all had their flaws, but it was entertaining to watch. And that applies here, right? Should we root for Jimmy? Yeah, I guess you could. I mean, he's still a bad guy. He's still a bad guy. But when we're seeing the hierarchy of villains on this show, from whether it's a Sweeney or Gotti or a Big Paul, I mean, he's the lesser, and he's looking out for his people. Well, of course, he's going to do some bad things, but you get what I'm saying. So either way, I'm just saying it was entertaining. It was great, and it delivered. Let's get into this. So it starts off at the bar. We got Jimmy hanging out with Mickey and the crew, and he's flipping out. He's flipping out because he's telling them what happened with Sweeney, that he confronted him about Sean, and he said, yeah, straight up, yeah, I took him out. I had to. He was probably going to school or do something. It was for the best of all of us. I did it. Mickey goes nuts. Mickey's like, no, I can't. I'm taking him out right now. Right now, I'm taking him out. Says, no. They go outside, tries to call him off. He says, listen, we'll get to him. We'll get Sweeney, but on our terms. Okay, we can't just go run and gun. They just don't have the muscle to do something like that. Right. So at the same time, though, you go over to Sweeney's place, and Eddie and his crew and Cliffy and all of them, they're like, yeah, we're taking him out. We're taking Jimmy out. We're wiping him off the board. And at this point, Sweeney is like, wait a minute. Listen. Let's calm down. Take a breath. You know, I get it. Jimmy came in here hot. He just lost his friend. Who we could all relate to that, right? You lose somebody. He said some things maybe he didn't mean to say. You know, he talks about the story about being there for him when he was a kid and how he first met him, that Jimmy picked his pocket, stole his wallet, he hung him over the pier, and he was like, I'm gonna drop him. He started laughing, and he was like, go ahead, drop me. I don't care. But you know, it was an interesting story. You know, let's play this.
I taught him about the business. I taught him about life. I taught him the shit that nobody ever taught me.
You know, when I heard this, of course, going forward, then we already know. But when I heard this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he really does care about Jimmy. Because remember, I said that whole thing in the last episode. I was like, it's all BS. Oh, I was gonna pass the business to you when I retired. I wasn't buying any of that. But after hearing this story and then just the way he was reacting to the whole thing with Jimmy, I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe he does really care about this kid, you know. But Eddie was like, no. This is all about self-defense. This guy, he's gonna come after you. He's gonna come after you, especially what happened, and we gotta hit him first before. So just that's what we're gonna do, okay? All right. I guess so, Eddie. I guess so. Now it gets interesting because we're at the hotel. This is what we've been waiting for, people. Is Bridget gonna pull it off? Is she gonna take out Markham? Is security gonna get involved? What's gonna happen? Well, this happened. Yeah, security. You must be important. He talks about his job. He says, yeah, I don't need him tonight. It's not going to be a problem. So, all right, he sent them away. Doesn't say it, but as we find out later on, that's pretty much what he did. Tell him, go hang out at the bar, whatever. So not stay at the door, at the front. Okay. He pours her a drink. They start talking a little bit, and he's like, hey, can I go to the bathroom, freshen up? Yeah, do your thing. She goes in there. Now she's nervous. Wasn't sure if she was going to pull this off. Maybe she was going to get cold feet, but how do you get out of this now, right? What, you back out, you change your mind, you say, nah, I got to go home. My stomach hurts. What do you do? Can't do anything. But we see that she has a knife. She's getting ready, takes a few breaths. She's going to do this. She's going to do it. But once she gets out of the bathroom, Markham's there with a gun. He's ready. He's like, you're fooling no one. I recognized you once I saw you before. Take the wig off. She takes the wig off. He just brings up the whole thing. Like, I know who you are. We went looking for you. This happens.
I had agents everywhere looking for you. You managed to keep a low profile, no good photos. Then we got wind you escaped to New York.
How?
Father Michael O'Donnell, your godless priest. He's gotten sloppy in his old age. I've had him watched for months.
And Father Michael, not his fault. Not his fault. He didn't know he was being watched. But what did I say before? I said there's going to be some kind of back and forth, some kind of connection with Markham and with somebody here. I thought it was Cahill, and I was right to an extent because he even says it. It's like, how do you think Cahill got out? He got out early because he squealed. He gave out the information about your parents. That's it. He gave up names. He was a rat. And believe it or not, I don't know. I believe it because it makes sense. As we found out, remember, he got it with, it was 10 years he was supposed to serve, and he got it in 3 months. Come on now. How does that happen? Right? I'm pretty sure that was the amount of time. But he got out early. Either way, that was the whole point, that he got out early and he wasn't supposed to. So, and that's what Father Michael had said. To that point. So again, there's people saying that he was informing. She was already planting that seed. Michael here telling Bridget, keep an eye out. And so if two people are saying it, I say it's true at this point. But she's freaking out. So it's like, all right, well, what are we going to do? And it's like, oh, we know what we're going to do.
If you knew who I was, why would you send your security away?
Because you wanted to honey trap me. So, well, now I mean to take my honey.
Wow. That was a line. That was a line. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, now he wants his honey. We all felt that something bad was going to happen to Bridget here. Get busted or something, right? But this, an actual assault from Markham on that level, man, he really is a bad guy. If you weren't sure about it before, I know I even saw some people in the comments like, oh, there's two sides to every story. And then, Markham is just following order. Okay. All right. We can take a step back and see it on that way. But look, this is the show telling us, no. Don't feel any remorse or any sympathy for this man. Because he is a bad guy. Because look, he didn't have to do this. He says, you know what? I'm calling up security and this and no. He wants to violate her. And then that's what we get from here, right? Oh, that was rough. It was rough. We see Jimmy and his crew at the bar. They're telling all the patrons, everybody get out. Get out. If you don't want to get shot, get out, including you, Ray. Bartender, also the owner. Everyone get out. There's going to be trouble. So everyone starts heading out the back door. No one asks any questions. I guess this has happened before. No one's concerned or like, what the hell? No questions asked. They all head out, but we just see that it's Declan, Mickey, Jimmy, and Connor that are staying back. They're getting ready for this. And sure enough, Sweeney's crew show up. They get in. It's kind of quiet. All of a sudden, the jukebox start playing. My Boyfriend's Back by the Angels. What? What's happening? And that's it. It's a firefight. Shooting. Everyone's going at it. We got the bottles smashed on the side. We got glass everywhere. I mean, it's a shootout. It's a shootout at the bar, right? But Duffy on the end of Sweeney's crew, he gets shot. He's down. We see Connor take a shot. He also gets cut, and he's on the ground. But during this whole shootout, Eddie was like, you know what? It's time to go. Tells his crew, let's go. They get out. That's when Jimmy and Mickey go over to Connor. They see that he's been shot. He's got some glasses. Where's Declan? Where's Declan? Don't worry about Declan. R.I.P. Declan. There goes that. But they don't tell him that. I'm pretty sure they didn't tell him that. I was like, come on, we got to go. I'm going to bring you back to my place, right, to get him fixed up. So then they head out. We jump back over to the hotel. Hey, you see Bridget. She's walking out now. She's got the wig and everything. She's walking out of the bar. We could see the security guard. He was over at the bar having some drinks. He notices that she's gone. He's like, all right. I don't know. He made a little remark. Is he trying to imply it was kind of quick? Huh? His boss is a little quick, or was like, oh, I guess the job is done. Well, either way, he made that remark. That's me. That's him. So then he goes up there. She heads out. She's walking out. She's all like, she looks a little banged up. little banged up. And that's the other thing. I don't know if the guard noticed that or maybe not. But once he goes up into the room, he's looking around, looking for his boss. And sure enough, Markham is down. Markham has died. She did it. She did it. She sliced this dude's throat. She ended him. So we don't see that, as we all know. We watched this episode. We don't see it. But hey, she had that knife, and it just shows that she was able to get the upper hand and take him out. That's big. That's big. But now what's going to happen with Brendan? And that's what I'm thinking. Once I saw this part, I was like, shoot, she's just going to go on a rampage, right? At this point, at least after just spilling blood with Markham, Brendan must be next. We get to Jimmy's place. Mickey, he's playing doctor right now. He's like, all right, go get some rags. Jimmy just has like dirty clothes. He's like, what the hell, clean rags? This guy don't have any of that stuff. I don't know, grab something. It was kind of comical, this whole thing about trying to get rags and stuff to put together to try to, clog up the wound. And they get some whiskey. And one thing that Mickey noticed, the bullet didn't come out, right? It's still in him. He's like, he definitely needs a doctor. We got to get this bullet out. But then at the same time, Bridget shows up. And she's like, what's going on? And Jimmy's like, let's go in the room, go in the room. They go in the room, and he's just telling them, trying to just let her know what's going on here with Connor being shot. And then he sees her face, and he says, wait, what happened to you? Where were you at right now? What? And she starts bursting out into tears and just spills it all out, talking about taking out Markham. She slit his throat. And, well, I get it. There's a lot happening here. Because she does bring up, she learned some stuff about Brendan, but Jimmy is too in shock with everything that's going on that he doesn't even follow up on that to figure this out. And she doesn't spill any more on what she found out about Brendan. But he was like, are you okay? Let's and at the same time, it's a lot of chaos because in the other room, you got your buddy that's pretty much dying out there. And Mickey's saying he needs a doctor. It's a lot. And she was like, what? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna be okay. Just go take care of Connor. He's in a worse situation right now. Got a bullet in him, right? And don't worry about me. I'll be okay. All right. And he's like, okay. And then he heads out. We jump over at Sweeney's. Eddie and the crew are there. Eddie fills in. Sweeney's like, hey, Duffy's gone. We lost him. Talks about the whole thing happening. Sweeney's freaking out. He's like, I told you, went too far. This shouldn't have happened. Again, at this point, I'm still thinking Sweeney really does care about Jimmy. He doesn't want it to go this far. Now, is his boy here, Eddie, loose cannon, and he's willing to do all the dirty work, and Sweeney's letting him go out there and do it, but he really should just pull him in. Could have avoided all this. Like, no, don't do that. Let me do a sit down. They could do a sit down with all their crews hanging around, right? They could have diffused this, but no, he lets Eddie go forward and cause all these problems. So I'm blaming Eddie on all of this. That's it. It's all Eddie's fault, right? So he says, don't worry about it. I got protection for you. Got 6 goons outside. Everybody's watching. It's going to be great, right? Let me go and finish the job, though. I'm going to take him out. I'm done. At this point, what can Sweeney say? It's already too deep in, right? We got Declan, and he was there. Oh man, he was a good kid too. You got Declan that's gone. We got Duffy gone. More bodies gonna hit the floor at this point. This is just a war. At this, they just gotta keep going with it, right? Glenn and Bertie show up at the bar, right? They're walking in, and then I heard this, and I was like, oh, my dad.
Jesus fucking Christmas.
He used to say those type of lines to me back in the day, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was an altar boy. How dare you tell me that? But yeah, I just this just triggered a memory for me. But they go in, and yeah, everything's a mess, right? They see the bar. Of course, Glenn confirms, yeah, I know that's Duffy. Works for Sweetie. Confirms Declan. Oh, he was a good kid. Wasn't that bad? And then Ray comes and starts mouthing off to Glenn. And I love just Glenn's reaction, just Titus nailing it here. He was like, just shut up, close your mouth, get out of here. You start cursing. I'm like, how dare you talk down to me? If you notice that when we switched over to Glenn 2.0, he no longer wears his uniform. Remember, he was wearing the uniform. Now he's got his jacket on. Now he's acting like one of these undercovers, these detectives out there. It's just to represent again that transformation. This is a different version of Glenn that we're getting here. We jump back to Jimmy's place. The doctor is there. It looks like he took care of it, right? He took the bullet out. Looks like Connor's going to live. That's great. Jimmy's like, I'm going to deal with this. It's like, all right, what are you going to? He calls Sweeney, calls him up and says, hey, I'm sorry. All this stuff, everything got out of control, and this is just too much happening here. This shouldn't have gone this far, and I was just upset, but I get it. You did what you had to do. I probably would have did the same thing. Just blowing all that smoke, right? Just blowing all that smoke. And Sweeney's doing the same thing. Yeah, I get it. Let's talk. You're right. Let's just push it aside. And Jim's like, yeah, let's talk. Listen, he's like, Jim's like, where are you? And this is how we know it was all BS at this point. And he was like, oh, well, I'm at the shop. You just come see me at the shop and we could talk. And I was like, yeah, that's great. He's like, oh, Eddie's going to drive me. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Let Eddie drive me. He's like, all right, I'll see you then. He hangs up. Sweeney hangs up. And then Sweeney looks at Eddie. And then he's like, all right, he's going to be at the shop. And then he says this.
Just make it quick. Painless.
Okay.
Yeah, we know Eddie's not going to do it like that. Come on now. Just saying yes. Eddie's brutal. We already saw it before. He don't care, but he's jetsing him. Like, yeah, okay. And then at the end of this situation, we got Jimmy telling Mickey, he's like, yo, Sweeney is going to whack me now. He's going to get me killed. He's going to send Eddie over. This is what's going to happen. He's like, okay. So now they know. They're setting this in motion, though. This is all Jimmy's plan, and it's going to go down. We jump over to Gotti's. He's getting a haircut, hanging out with his crew. One of the guys starts moving things around, and what does he find? Finds a bug. It's like, oh, this must have been when the feds raided us a few days ago. They planted this. How much did they know? Probably everything, right? I'm really surprised that he didn't have anybody check. This can't be the first time. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to get raided, and just see if they took anything and if they left anything. But either way, they don't. And he finds this and he's like, all right, we got to search around, see if there's any more bugs and remove them. It's like, okay, let's get on that. But at the same time, we jump over to the Fed building. We see Birdie with Glenn. She's all upset about this because obviously they lost comms and the whole thing going on with the bugs. She's blaming IT. IT said that they would never find it. It's not their fault. Things happen. But whatever. Danny, Glenn is over here now concerned about something else because he finds out from his sister-in-law that Danny left the rehab center. It's like, oh, well, my son left. And, she was like, I don't care. We got bigger issues. She's all about this case. And it's like, she's forgetting what caused all this, at least for Glenn. To get Glenn 2.0, he had to snap. It was all the stuff related to Danny. So she has to understand that this is his son. And this is his top priority right now. But still, she's like, no. She's like, I still think this is all related. This whole thing with the shooting at the bar and all that. And he said, well, listen, all I know is that Jimmy, that I was telling you about, Jimmy, he wants to talk to me this afternoon. So I'm going to go meet up with him. And then maybe I'll get some more answers. And we'll see what happens from there. She's like, okay. We see a bus pull up in town. And who gets off? Oh, it's Danny Boy. Danny Boy's there. And I'm pretty sure it was Eddie that picked them up. I could be wrong. I just wrote down Eddie, and I was like, I think it was Eddie. But yeah, either way, Sweeney's crew pick him up. It's like, hey, welcome back. Oh, everything worked out great. Yeah, come on. We're going to take you back. They bring him straight to Sweeney's office. And what does he say? Oh, we missed you. You're great. You're a great kid. You know what? If I had a kid, I want to be just like you. This is Sweeney, again, blowing all that smoke in this kid's face. And he's loving it. We already know he has a shitty relationship with his dad. So I get it. I get that he would buy into all this. But he says, you know what? Not only that, I'm going to give you a spot on my crew. Right? You want to be one of us? You want to be in? Yeah, sir. Yeah, let's do this. I mean, this kid is like over the moon right now. He's been taken out of rehab, and now he's got a job with the number one guy in town. He loves him. And then Sweeney starts saying this, though, because he gives him a gun. He's like, I got a gift for you. Gives him a gun and says, oh, another buddy over there got bullets. Smart, right? Smart. You don't give him a loaded gun just in case he double crosses. Like, you know what? I learned something in rehab. I hate you. No, it doesn't happen. But he says, hey, another guy's going to give you a gun. Cliff will even show you how to take some shots. But this is what's going on here.
You know what a rat is, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is somebody like your father. The guy who fucking framed you up, got you sent away. Wore a fucking wire, tried to set me up with the feds. You know what we do with rats, right?
You know what we do with rats. Saying all that stuff, I was expecting another scene just to see Danny Boy's face, to see how he's reacting. We don't get that. But man, do you really, at this point, did you really think, like, shoot, the first thing you do is you hire him and says, hey, here's your first job. Kill your pops. Go out there and just drop them. Do you think he can do it? No, I don't. Especially a kid like that. From what I understand, he's never killed anyone. This is a big deal. So you're not telling me just his first kill, right? The first day out of rehab, but also to kill his dad. And then technically he didn't do anything in rehab, right? Because he wasn't on drugs. That was all planted from his dad. So he just hanging around doing nothing, probably just thinking about all this stuff that happened with his dad. And like, how could he do this to me? So who knows? Maybe there was enough anger festering during that time to justify him saying, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna go out there and take my dad out. But I just would have liked to see his reaction to it. But hey, we'll see what happens later on, right? Eddie shows up at the shop. Surprise, surprise, he's alone, right? So once he gets out the car, I mean, Jimmy and Mickey, they grab him right away, snatch him. I was like, get over here. Like, we jump over to Bridget. She's at home, all cleaned up, looking out the window, probably reflecting on everything that just took place here. I don't think she called Brendan, but we hear her banging on the door, and sure enough, it is Brendan. She has a gun ready. She opens up the door. He comes in. He's like, wow, you did it, right? I was like, yeah, I did. I took him out. Like, I know. That's what I'm saying. We're going to celebrate, right? Celebrate. It's like, no. She points her gun at him. Markham told me how you got out of jail. You read it out on my family. What? That's the mind games. They always say that type of stuff. No, I would never do it. I love you. I love you. Right? He does that whole thing. I was expecting a little more with this. I was like, maybe he would come clean, or he was going to try to take the gun from her or do something. Maybe even try to take her out, because if she does get busted, then she could definitely point fingers at him and his crew. I mean, it could definitely escalate, but it didn't happen here. And she just didn't even take him out either. With all the noise in that apartment, I don't think anybody would even care if they heard a gunshot. But she says, hey, I never want to see you again. That's it. Leave me alone. Just disappear. And then he was like, okay, but I will always love you. Now, this scene I did not see coming. Big surprise here. Big surprise. With Jimmy showing up at Ruby Stein's office, has the rest of the money, because business has been good. He's been doing all the selling and stuff with Gotti and all that stuff. He's like, hey, here's your money. Oh wow, that's great. Got all this. Yeah. But also I want to let you know things are changing. Long story short, Sweeney is going to get out of the picture soon, and now Jimmy's going to be taken over once that happens. But the reason why he's telling Ruby about all this is because he's also going to continue on with the drug game, and he wants to make sure that everything is on the up and up with Big Paul, because he's not only going to do the drug game, but he's also going to take over the whole Javits thing and leave that intact. Nothing has to change. It's just going to be under new management type of deal. And in exchange, he's going to give a cut to Stein, if he's cool with it, if he can set this in motion. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting this scene. I was like, well, wow, you know what? Jimmy is a big thinker. He does some reckless things like we saw before at the Starship, at the club, and all that stuff. But this is a big move right here, and I'm glad that we're seeing that he was thinking of the future and how to get out of this, and not so much of just like with the Mickey's approach of just running gun and try to drop everybody as fast as you can. So very interesting this scene, and I'm glad that we got it. We jump back with Mickey and Eddie. He's going to town with a pipe, just bashing his legs, his hands, the whole thing across the face. He's a mess. He's banging them up. But he says, you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to keep you awake. I'm going to keep you sane like me. I got these pills. So shake everybody's like, you know what? Now you're going to get this. Lifts his head back, pours them all down. I forgot what kind of pills these were. Definitely to calm him down. And that came up in this episode as well. And now that I remember, right? Jimmy even said when Mickey had the blowtorch and all that stuff, he's like, hey, did you take your pills? I remember last episode with Erin, when you're talking about getting married. We don't even see her in this episode here or discussions about the marriage, but I get it. There's a lot that happens, shooting and all that stuff. But even then, she'd be like, did you take your pills? That should be the running joke as this keeps going. Every time he does something crazy on scene or said something nuts, someone should just say, hey, did you take your pills? But he pours it down his throat, and then we're going to see what happens after that. Jimmy is definitely having a busy day. Right after meeting up with Stein, now he meets up with Glenn in his car, says, listen, I told you I'm not going to be a rat. That's not how this is going to go down. I got other plans. He's like, yeah, no, I know. I got it. All right. And I got what you need. And he opens up a bag. It's got 3 keys. Says he took this from the evidence locker, so he's got to change things up. But you think you can pull this off, right? I have faith in you. He's like, yeah. This is going to work. Grabs the bag, and he heads out. We jump over to Gotti hanging out with his buddies, and he's wondering, he's like, where's Jimmy? Where's that Irish guy? He's supposed to come down for the restock, and I haven't heard from him. Anybody heard from him? No. So maybe that was something else he was supposed to do that day. I just bring it up because it was a scene, and it didn't really go anywhere. I thought it was going to get brought up or a link to another scene later on, but it really doesn't. right? But then we see Glenn, and this was also kind of confused with this because he shows up at the bar. It's a crime scene. There's an officer there, and he shows his badge. He lets him in, and once he goes in, he pours a drink. Might as well, right? You're there. And I'm like, why is he here? Right now, we see what happens. Danny Boy shows up, and he's there, and he's like, "How'd you get in?" "Oh, I came in through the basement," and the whole thing. It was like, "All right, well, listen, we got to talk." It's like, no, done talking. He takes out a gun. Was he really going to pop his dad here? And now Glenn said, he's like, "I know you've been following me for a while, so maybe that's why he did this." But then that just still doesn't make sense because then he asked him how he got in. So if let's say someone is following you, right? What would you do? All right, well, this is my head. Like, who would do this? I would go into like an alleyway or something just to see who follows me because it's funneling it in, right? So if he knows that Danny's following him, would he lead him to the bar knowing that there's a police at the door and then his son's going to have to sneak in? I don't know. My point is, I don't know why he went back to the bar. I don't know. But it doesn't matter, I guess, at this point. Because Danny's there pointing the gun. He can't believe it. He's throwing all this stuff. He blames him for his mom getting on drugs. It's your fault. You did this, that. You abandoned me. He's like, no, I didn't. And then really quick, he just diffuses, right? But Glenn just takes the gun out and says, "Get to some." Come on now. He's a pro, right? And he says, "I love you. Just can't you forgive me? I love you." It's like, no. And kid just walks out. He just goes, forget this. Mission failed. We see Ruby Stein show up at Big Paul's. He has a gift from his wife. Yummy food. Who doesn't want food, right? It brings that over. That always smooths things out a little bit and just fills him in on what's going on. Like, this is up and coming Irish kid. He's great. Got a good head on his shoulders. We're going to work with him. Well, why are you telling me this? Well, because there's going to be a change of management. Long story short about the whole thing with Sweeney. "Oh, but I like Sweeney." It doesn't matter. This is going to happen. This kid's going to take over. And what is Big Paul really going to do? He's not going to send his muscle to go take him out. Doesn't really care that much. But the main part of this is that Ruby's talking about the drugs. And he's like, "You know what? You guys are on drugs. Oh, they're going to pay for it." You can't. Sorry. You can't. It's just the way it is. It's going to happen. And this kid is going to keep doing it with the Irish on his side. And he's going to give me a cut. And then I'm going to give you a cut. And that's why I'm telling you. And so that way you don't kill me or Jimmy. Can we do that? And don't worry, I won't get your name or anything involved in this. It's just our operation. But this is just the way of the future. This is the way things are going right now. Are you okay with that? And I guess so. Because it's all about money, right? We all know it's all about the money. Now it's showtime. Now things are winding down. We see Jimmy. He shows up back at the shop. Eddie's still alive. He's all drugged up. Jimmy asks Mickey, "What the hell you do?" He's like, "Oh, I gave him some of the pills." He's good, though. He's good. Can he talk? Yeah. He's mumbling, but yeah, he could do it. It's like, all right. They call Sweeney, put Eddie on the phone. So remember, you can say everything I just said. It's like, yeah. All right. Yeah, I killed Jimmy. Oh, okay. That's good. I was like, "Hey, I'll tell you all about it. Meet me at the warehouse," and hangs up. Come on now. That's very suspicious. All of this, because even on the other end, it's Sweeney at this point. He's there with Cliffy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Eddie just called. He said he got rid of Jimmy." He's like, "Oh, that's great news. That's great news." He's like, yeah. But then he says he wants to meet up at the warehouse. It sounded off. It didn't sound right, and it definitely did not. Now, I think even if he wasn't drugged up, there's no way Eddie was going to make that call. I think that the drugs is the only way he would have made that call because, right? He's going to set up Sweeney. He's a loyal soldier. No, break his jaw then. Break his jaw. It's not going to happen. But either way, even Cliffy says, "Don't go. You can't do this. No, it's a setup." Or what if he's like, no. If this is the game that Jimmy wants to play, if he is alive, then I got to confront him. This was going to go down. But let's all go. All right. So, yeah. All right. So now they all pack up in their car. Now it's nighttime, right? They make sure to show that tonight. Everyone's packing up in their cars. They're heading over to the warehouse. They get to the warehouse. They're looking around, right? See what's going on. And there's a shootout, right? Shootout, people fighting, chaos. But it looks like all his guys get dropped, right? Jimmy gets the upper hand, grabs Sweeney out of the car. And now it's like full circle back to episode 1, right? With the guy in the chair with Davy Boy, the whole thing. Now it's Sweeney in the chair with Jimmy with the gun. And he just, they're just talking about this whole thing. And Sweeney's not understanding this. He was like, this is not going to be good for you. Why are you even bothering with this? Big Paul, he's going to take you out. You can't take out a boss like me. You can't do that. He's like, hey, you know what? Thanks to you not wanting to help me out and introducing me to Stein over here, he's the one that did it. He went over and he smoothed things out. So everything is cool with Big Paul. He's cool and understanding that I'm going to be running the show. Now, I don't know. There's no cell phones back then, remember, people, but I'm hoping that was already confirmed that he spoke with Stein, because that would be a big shocker come the next season, and then find out when Stein shows up, yeah, Big Paul said he's got too much loyalty towards Sweeney. Sorry, boy, he's not on your side. And then, hey, it could happen, and then we get a whole big to do with the fighting and all that stuff on that level. But no, at this point, he's telling him, I could take you out now. And then he says this, Sweeney.
So now you're gonna spill my Irish blood? Yeah? What does that make you?
A hypocrite.
A hypocrite. Oh. And he does pull the trigger. He pulls it. And of course, nothing happens. It's not loaded. And he's like, I just wanted you to feel it, to know what it feels like to have your life on the line like this. But you know what? That's too easy for you. Now this is the real punishment. And then he walks away with Mickey and all them. They go to leave. And then what do we hear? Police sirens. But we also see that Mickey dropped Eddie there. He's all beat up. So he's alive still. Cops show up. Glenn, Birdie, the crew, they see them, do the whole thing, and says, all right, you're going to jail. So go ahead. Well, we just found 3 keys in your trunk of your car. That explains why Jimmy needed it, right? Give it to his buddy. They planted it in the car during that whole shootout and all the stuff that was happening. And that's going to jail. This is a way to get them in jail. How does he get out of this? If there's a second season, I'm sure they'll find a way, right? You get a good lawyer. Maybe they introduce another boss from one of the other boroughs. There's ways, but this keeps him alive, and we'll see how this pans out come next season, if they're in the next season. But overall, I like this scene. This was a good scene. I like that he did the callback to the first episode opening scenes there. And now that he's in the hot seat, as opposed to being the one with the gun. So that was great. We jump over to the Javits, right? It's the next day. It's a new day. Jimmy walks in. This is his office now. Sits behind the desk, right? He's like, wow, this is it. Mickey walks in. He goes to light a cigarette. This is Jimmy. He's like, hey, I got you, boss. Don't call me that. That's the last thing he wants. He wasn't hear all this stuff. And Jimmy gets a call, and it's Gotti. I guess he knows someone's going to pick up, or maybe he already knows there's been a change of management. But either way, he tells him, he's like, wait, what are you doing? We got to get together, do this. He's like, no, go fuck yourself. I'm done. I'm out of this. Right? There's a change of plans. Hangs up. And it's everything's under new management. And him and Mickey, they toast. They're like, yay, this is great. And then this is how it ends. But what I'm trying to figure out when I was watching this, and then he just mouthed off for Gotti, I was like, well, where's your supplier? Right? Where are you getting the supplies? Like Big Paul's really, he gave the blessing. He's not going to put a hit on you or anything. But unless it's Stein, will be Stein that has a new contact or a supplier that he can point in Jimmy's direction so he doesn't have to deal with Gotti. Put in the comments. Did I miss something there? Like, where is he going to get his supply if it's not coming from Gotti? Because remember, Gotti put the lien over on the Dominicans not to sell to him. So where is he going to get it? And he openly said that he is going to continue, Jimmy, that he continue selling drugs. That's how he's working the deal out with Stein. So I was confused by that, because I thought, if anything, it was like, all right, things are going to change, though. We'll have a talk. And then, he doesn't have to sell for him, but he can get some of the other guys. He can get Connor or some of the other crew to start doing the whole thing and working with Gotti. But I don't know. That's the one confusing part of this finale that I was like, where does this go? What's happening here? But overall, this was great. As I said in the opening, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it. It ended in a way that if it doesn't come back, okay, we got a conclusion, right? Sweeney went to jail. We could just put it in our imagination there. It was like, oh, he's serving time. He's gone. Jimmy's running the shop. Everything goes through with the Javits, and it's easy peasy. Everything worked out. Right? We could say that. But if not, then it's still open that we could see other things. Like I said, with Sweeney getting out of jail and Eddie still being alive, he could still, of course, he'll get out with him if they work out some deal, and maybe a plea deal to give up some other information. And maybe Sweeney does turn into a rat, for his freedom. Who knows? But either way, this was a fantastic season, I should say. And hopefully we get another one. So what did you people think? Were you enjoying it? Did you like it? Were you expecting a little more? I saw mixed comments. Some people loved it. They were like, this is great. Others are like, I can't relate. Don't want this. So let me know. But either way, thank you for hanging out with me here. Thank you for the likes, the hypes, the shares, the comments, the follows, all of it. I mean, you don't have to do any of this. None of this has to happen. You don't have to click away, scroll away, but you don't. You hang out for a few minutes with me, right? We'll talk about the show, and then you move on with your day, and that's it. All right. Just want to say that. Thank you all. I'll see you next time on one of the other shows, and peace.